Hi, brothers and sisters. Um, I wanted to read you guys some more funny church stories today. That's what the title of the page is called, Funny Church Stories. It's the same page where I got the stories from yesterday. So let's see here. Let's go with the church lady. There was a little old lady who was very spiritual, who would step out on her porch every day, raise her arms to the sky, and yell, "Praise the Lord!" One day an atheist bought the house next door to her, and he became very irritated with the spiritual lady. So after a month or so of her yelling, "Praise the Lord!" from her porch, he would go outside on his porch and yell back, "There is no Lord!" Yet the little old lady continued. One cold wintry day, when the little old lady couldn't get to the store, she went out on her porch, raised her hands up to the sky, and said, "Help me, Lord, I have no money, it's cold, and I have no more food." The next morning she went outside, and there were bags of food on the porch, enough to last her a week. "Praise the Lord!" she yelled. The atheist stepped out from the bushes and said, "There is no Lord! Ha ha ha! I bought those groceries." The little old lady raised her arms to the sky and said, "Praise the Lord! You sent me groceries and you made the devil pay for them." I remember hearing that story before. Yeah, that was a good one. Guess he showed that old atheist, didn't she? This one is called Five Nuns in Town. This is a really short one. Sisters Mary Catherine, Maria Theresa, Catherine Marie, Rose Frances, and Mary Kathleen left the convent on a trip to St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City and were sightseeing on a Tuesday in July. It was hot and humid in town, and their traditional garb was making them so uncomfortable they decided to stop in at Patty McGuire's pub for a cold soft drink. Patty had recently added special legs to the bar stools, which were the talk of the fashionable East Side neighborhood. All five nuns sat at the bar and were enjoying their cokes when Mr. Riley and Father McGinty entered the bar through the front door. They too came for a cold drink, when they shocked the almost fainted at what they saw. You guys can't see the pictures, so I didn't know this story was going to be this way. But if you would see the picture, you'd know why they would be shocked, because the five nuns are sitting at the bar drinking their pop, but the stools, the the uh, the bottom part of the stool where it connects to the seat to the platform are made like women's legs, and they got high heels on, and they're all like got sexy fishnet pantyhose on and stuff like that. And when the nuns are sitting on them, it looks like they're standing there with their dresses pulled up and all their sexy legs hanging out. That's what. That was weird. Let's see. This one's called, and the moral of the story is, Billy's homework assignment was to think of a true story with a moral, so he goes home and thinks about it all night. He finally has one. The following day, Susie raises her hand first and says, "My dad owns a farm, and every Sunday we load the chicken eggs in a basket and onto the truck. Well, one Sunday we hit a big bump, and all the eggs flew out of the basket and onto the road." The teacher asks for the moral of the story, and Susie replies, Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Next is Lucy. Well, my dad owns a farm too, and every weekend we take the chicken eggs and put them in an incubator. Last weekend only 8 of the 12 eggs hatched. The moral of my story is don't count your chickens before they hatch. Billy is the last to speak. He says, my Uncle Ted fought in the Vietnam War. His plane got shot down over enemy territory. He jumped out before it crashed with only a parachute, a machine gun, and a machete and a bottle of bourbon. As he floated down, he drank the bourbon. Unfortunately, he landed smack dab in the middle of 100 North Vietnamese soldiers. He shot 70, killed 20 more, but the blade broke, so he killed the last 10 with his bare hands. The teacher looks in shock at Billy and asks if there could possibly be a moral to this story. Billy replies, don't mess with my Uncle Ted when he's been drinking. I seriously can see a little kid telling that story in school. I seriously can. Just imagine the look on the teacher's face. Oh. This one's called Singles Ad. This has to be one of the best singles ads ever printed. It is reported to have been listed in the Atlanta Journal. A young single black female seeks male companionship, but prefer Christian male. I'm a very good girl who loves to play. I love walks in the woods, riding in your pickup truck, hunting, camping, and fishing trips, cozy winter nights lying by the fire. Candlelit dinners will have me eating out of your hand. Afterwards, I'd love snuggling with you. I'll be at the front door when you get home from work, wearing only what nature gave me. Call 875-6420 and ask for Ginger. I'll be waiting. And then it says, please scroll down. And it's a picture of a little black puppy. It was an ad for someone to adopt a puppy. Over 15,000 men found themselves talking to the Atlanta Humane Society. I just clicked off of that, off the story page. Sorry. I accidentally clicked the story page off. Now I gotta find our page again, guys. Okay, I'm back to the stories. I'm trying to figure out which ones we've already read and which ones we haven't. I don't think we've read. No, we ain't read this. Those who wait upon the Lord. After starting a new diet, I just tried that here lately. It didn't go too well. It went really well for a while, but then that went out the window. Anyways, after starting a new diet, I altered my drive to work to avoid passing my favorite bakery. I accidentally drove by the bakery this morning, and as I approached, there in the window were the host of goodies. I felt that this was no accident, so I prayed, Lord, it's up to you if you want me to have any of those delicious goodies. Create a parking place for me directly in front of the bakery. And sure enough, on the 8th time around the block, there it was. God is so good. He went 8 times around the block. Yeah, he just wanted to get a donut. Let's see. The pastor's business card. Sorry about that. I had to It's a little bit hard for me to catch my breath today. A new pastor was visiting in the homes of his parishioners. At one house it seemed obvious that someone was at home, but no answer came to his repeated knocks at the door. Therefore he took out a business card that he had printed Revelation 3:20 on the back of it for just such occasion, and stuck it in the door. When the offering was proceeded the following Sunday, he found that his card had been returned. Added to it was the cryptic message, Genesis 3:10. Reaching for his Bible to check out the situation, he broke up in gales of laughter. Revelation 3:20 begins, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock." That's what the card said that the pastor gave the person that didn't answer the door. Now the person that didn't answer the door wrote on the back of his card, Genesis 3:10, which reads, "I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid, for I was naked. And a cheerful heart is good medicine." Proverbs 17:22. He didn't go to the door because he was naked. Oh, yeah. You guys, there's not very many stories on this page, but they are funny, but there's only very few. And did we read The Bible Salesman? I don't think that we did. No, because this is really long. Let's see. This is the longest one yet. Let's see here. The Bible Salesman. Really, really tiny print, too. A pastor concluded that his church was getting into serious financial troubles. While checking the church storeroom, he discovered several cartons of new Bibles that had never been opened and distributed. So at his Sunday sermon, he asked for 3 volunteers from the congregation who would be willing to sell the Bibles door to door for $10 each to raise the desperately needed money for the church. Jack, Paul, and Louise all raised their hands to volunteer for the task. The minister knew that Jack and Paul earned their livings as salesmen and were likely capable of selling some Bibles, but he had serious doubts about Louise, who was a local farmer's wife who had always kept to herself. Poor Louise stuttered badly, but not wanting to discourage Louise, the minister decided to let her try anyway. He sent the 3 of them away back from the back seat of their cars stacked with Bibles. He asked them to meet with him and report the results of their door-to-door selling efforts the following Sunday. Eager to find out how successful they were, the minister immediately asked Jack, "Well, Jack, how did you make out selling our Bibles last week?" Proudly handing the Reverend an envelope, Jack replied, "Using my sales prowess, I was able to sell 20 Bibles, and here's the $200 I collected on behalf of the church." "Fine job, Jack," the minister said, vigorously shaking his hand. "You are indeed a fine salesman, and the church is indebted to you." Turning to Paul, how many Bibles did you sell for the church this week?" Paul, smiling and sticking out his chest, confident, replied, "I am a professional salesman. I sold 28 Bibles on behalf of the church, and here's $280 I collected." The minister responded, "That's absolutely splendid, Paul. You are truly a professional salesman, and the church is greatly indebted to you." Apprehensively, the minister turned to Louise and said, "And Louise, did you manage to sell any Bibles last week?" Louise silently offered the minister a large envelope. The minister opened it and counted the contents. "What is this?" the minister exclaimed. "Louise, there's $3,200 in here." Are you suggesting that you sold 320 Bibles for the church door to door in just 1 week? Louise just nodded. That's impossible. Both Jack and Paul said in unison. We are professional salesmen, yet you claim to have sold 10 times as many Bibles as we could? Yes, this does seem unlikely, the minister agreed. I think you'd better explain how you managed to accomplish this, Louise. Louise shrugged. I really don't know for sure, he stammered. Impatiently, Peter interrupted. For crying out loud, Louise, just tell us what you said to them when you answered the door. As was said was, Louise replied, would you like to buy this Bible for 10 bucks? Would you just like me to stand here and read it to you? That's kind of an insulting story. Making fun of people who talk that way. I don't think it's very funny. I didn't think that was too funny. It might have been a little funny, but I don't think it was that funny. Okay, this is supposed to be the best poem in the world. We'll see about that, because I've read some pretty good poems. I love poems. I was shocked, confused, bewildered as I entered heaven's door. Not by the beauty of it all, nor the lights or its decor, but it was the folks in heaven who made me sputter and gasp. The thieves, the liars, the sinners, the alcoholics, and the trash. There stood the kid from 7th grade who swiped my lunch money twice. Next to him was my old neighbor who never said anything nice. Herb, who I always thought was rotting away in hell, was sitting pretty on a cloud 9, looking incredibly well. I nudged Jesus. What's the deal? Would love to hear your take. How'd all these sinners get up here? God must have made a mistake. And why's everyone so quiet, so somber? Give me a clue. Hush, child, he said. They're all in shock. No one thought they'd be seeing you. Judge not. Remember, just going to church doesn't make you a Christian any more than standing in your garage makes you a car. A cheerful heart is good medicine. Like I always say, don't judge one another, love one another, be there for one another. Did we read this one? No, we didn't. Okay. This will probably be our last one for today, because I'm running out of stories on this page. I'm going to have to find another page, and you guys are probably getting tired of listening to me gasp for breath, so we'll make it through this story and we'll quit for today. It's the thought that counts. Choosing a gift for an elderly mother. 3 sons left home, went out on their own and prospered. Getting back together, they discussed the gifts they were able to give their elderly mother. The first said, I built a big house for our mother. The second said, I sent her Mercedes with a driver. The third smiled and said, I got you both beat. You remember how Mom enjoyed reading the Bible, and you know she can't see very well? So I sent her a remarkable parrot that recites the entire Bible. It took elders in the church 12 years to teach him. He's one of a kind. Mama just has to name the chapter and verse, and the parrot recites it. Soon thereafter, Mom sent out her letters of thanks. "David," she wrote one son, "the house you built is so huge. I live in only one room, but I have to clean the whole house." "John," she wrote to another, "I am too old to travel. I stay most of the time at home, so I rarely use the Mercedes, and the driver is so rude." "Dearest Geoffrey," she wrote to her third son, "you have the good sense to know what your mother likes. The chicken was delicious." She ate the bird! What the heck? Who would eat a parrot? Who would eat a parrot? Oh my god. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Alright, guys. I wasn't expecting that ending. Wasn't expecting that ending at all, was you? Oh, it was kind of funny, though. Although I feel sorry for the little parrot. Poor little bird. So I will get off here, you guys, and just wish you guys a good rest of the day and a good day tomorrow. In case I don't get to talk to you tomorrow, I'll try my best to talk to you. We'll have Mom here for a few days after we get back from the hospital from my husband's surgery. So like I said, I can't guarantee that I'll be able to get on here. But if I'm able to, I will try my best to get on here and do this for you guys. If not, I'll see you guys in a couple days. And until then, be good to one another, love one another, and bring those souls to Jesus. I love you guys all so very, very much. God bless.